Hey everyone, welcome back to the Improv TX Comedy Network. If this is your first time checking out the podcast network, we appreciate it. Please head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give the Improv TX Comedy Network a like. And just a reminder, the Improv TX Comedy Network is live on YouTube with all your favorite comedians on the improv stage. All links can be found in the description. And with that, on to the podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to the Act Out. From open mic to the big stage, comedians tell us how stories were made. But today we have something a little bit different. Not a comedian, even though he's a funny dude. He's a funny dude.
I have a moment.
But a musician that I've known for over 20 years. My best friend in the world and just an awesome guy all around. It's so great to have you here. Benjamin Defibaugh. I'm not going to add the N like I always do. I always say Defibaugh, and that's not it. So Benjamin Defibaugh, welcome to the show. How are you?
That was such a good intro. I want to just hug you.
You can't. I'm a table away.
That's too far to comprehend.
How dare you even try to...
Too far to comprehend.
Come over here. Ben, we've known each other since we were like 13, 14, 15, something like that. Do you remember what age it was?
I remember that me and your brother were nerds, and we were doing the lunchroom thing.
So you worked in the
because
lunchroom.
We were poor, and we wanted free food. So actually, my parents gave me $7 a week for lunch. I just kept that. And worked in the lunchroom, so I got free lunches. And then I used the $7 to buy cigarettes or something. So me and your brother were friends first, and then you came over one time to sell us a Super Nintendo. Or vice versa.
Vice versa. We bought a Game Boy and a Super Nintendo from you because we got.
And then you were there.
Yes.
And I think you were still kind of a little crippled then.
Yeah. I was a little crippled.
This is no cripple boy funny.
Yeah, I remember coming over to the house because the garage, which was the basement, was so freaking awesome. And we didn't come upstairs. We just went into the garage. But I remember thinking, this is cool. And I don't remember how that transitioned into a friendship, but I was like, Ben is super cool.
I think I found out you were a drummer, maybe.
Yeah, well,
that might have been actually how it started.
Well, you were written large in my mythology anyhow, because I remember Tyler Pizzuti telling me a story about when you went out and you bought a newspaper from a bin, and then you went down the street and paid to put it in another bin. And I was like, why would he do that?
That's actually still really funny. Years later.
And that cracked me up, dude. And so with that, you were written large in my mythology already. I was like, this guy's crazy. He's going to run around and do whatever he wants. He's taking newspapers.
He's really bad with his finances, too, and I like it. That makes financially no sense.
It really didn't, dude. You lost 50 cents there.
And I got no news out of it.
Yeah. No news at all. I met you, like I said, through my brother, Matt, and then we bought the stuff, but somehow you found out that I played drums. You were kind of jamming with some people around.
I was. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and then jamming with him and somebody else. And you were like, I need to start a band, and you're a drummer. So here we go. So I came over for band practice, and we were terrible. But we wrote a song called Haboffa Sedge.
I remember Haboffa Sedge.
Haboffa Sedge.
That was that was the whole song. I can actually play it right now.
Do it. Haboffa Sedge it up. Blur. Oh.
That was it. What was it?
Yep, that was it.
Yeah, I was really good.
And then it was like, woo! What? Yeah, that's totally it, dude.
What were the lyrics? Who?
What? When? Something. Haboffa Sedge. I think the last one was woo. It was like Blur song too. We were just trying to do that. Which we actually ended up playing music at a church, which was our first show.
We did the 311.
Do you remember?
What was the name of that song?
I know we did Blur song 2. We did God is an Awesome God, which actually rocked. We did something else. They kind of forced us to have other people on stage with us at that time. So we had this girl playing bass, and then we had...
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and then somebody else. So they kind of forced it upon us.
Oh, typical.
It was weird, but
Typical church folks always forcing stuff upon you.
Dude, I end up playing drums. You play guitar and sing. We form a band, and then we get a third person in the band. His name was Brock, and we played for how many years together with that? 2 or 3?
Brock, man, I guess a couple of years.
Yeah, and then
time's different than when you're younger.
Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. It was and it was big, and there was all this drama, and it was ridiculous. But it was fun too at the same time. We had lots of punk rock adventures. I lived in the punk rock house with the dog poop on the floor.
Oh, that was so punk rock.
It was so disgusting.
I slept in the corner, the only spot that didn't have dog poop. I swear, I brushed a little corner, and I put a pillow there, and I had my clothes. I didn't even have any clothes. I didn't need any. I was too punk rock. I wore the same thing every day for a month.
Well, you were homeless for a time.
Well, yeah, it's just I just slept on people's couches or on the floors for forever, man.
Yeah, why did you make that? Like, you did that? You started
because it was the cool punk rock thing to do.
Well, when you were like 17 or 18, because you were going to school drunk. All right, question time. What got you into music in the first place? Where did the inspiration? Was it your father playing bass? Or was it
probably. But you know what? I remember like my cousin. My cousin was like super cool. He had like 60-inch bottom jeans.
Boots with the fur.
And he skateboarded, and he had an electric guitar in his room, and we would go over to his house, and I would play his electric guitar really bad. But like when I was a kid, we'd go over to his house, play like old school Nintendo. It was a cool place, but he was cool. He had a guitar, and I'm like, I want to do that. And I think that's where it started. But then, of course, my dad being a bass player, that definitely had to have something to do with it.
Yeah, and he 100%. Played for the church too, didn't he?
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
Different church.
But he was actually in a band. Like, didn't he hop on like a train or something like that?
He was super dope. In like old classic rock bands, kind of like Allman Brothers kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, when he was a kid, like hopped trains and went across country, just hopping trains. Like, that's crazy.
Playing music, man.
But it makes sense, like, where I get my stubbornness
and rebellious
nature from. Yeah. It's like, and why I left my home. I mean, I must just be in like the Defibaugh blood or something like that,
So you started playing music. We started playing music. We formed a band. We were a band for like 5 or 6 years. And we went through 2 iterations. We had our first iteration, which me, you, Brock, and Sheena, because she played the bass. And then we had the iteration was me, you, Will, and Jesse as a punk ska band. Yeah. So we kept the name.
That's the one that did well.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. Like, I would say that it probably kept us out of trouble. The trouble we got into was kind of like localized to my house or your apartment or wherever. You know what I mean? So we pretty much stayed out of trouble. We didn't do any hard drugs, so we were good. We just drank a little bit here and there.
Drank a lot of it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a lot of it.
You didn't really do anything yet.
No. I mean, I didn't get into my drug phase until I got
all.
older. In my mid-20s is when it just all went downhill.
Yeah.
So anyhow, played music. We ended up breaking up. It's my fault. I blame me. But you still continued to play music at that point. You still continued to, like, you weren't in bands or anything like that, but you were always kind of solo artisting it. So
I was trying to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very good.
Well, what do you mean?
It wasn't good at all. Like, I tried doing my own thing, and it was just wasn't working. And then eventually, I just kind of quit music altogether.
Really? You took a break?
I didn't start back up until you moved back down to Texas, and I bought that cheap little acoustic guitar. That was when I transitioned from, like, punk music into, like, acoustic stuff.
Right. You changed your style completely.
And it still was really bad. It was really bad for a long time. I think it was only 2 years ago that it actually started to get okay.
Why do you think it was bad?
It was bad.
Just the songs, the music?
Yeah, because I was like trying to learn a new genre. Going from like punk and metal music to, acoustic and folk music, it just wasn't good. It was cheesy, trying to be something that I wasn't or something. I don't know. It was bad.
When did you think, you said 2 years ago it started to get good. What changed?
Oh, man, I've just been like trying really hard to just get better and better for forever. Even watching YouTube videos on like how to be a songwriter, how to record and all that stuff, and just really just trying to be a student of the trade until eventually like I started to kind of find out who Tribe and King was, like who it really is, like, oh, like this is me now. Like it just comes out naturally. Whereas before I was trying to do something that other people were doing, where now it's like, no, this is just what comes out naturally. But still trying to be like the best at it. Well, not the best, but trying to be good at it and constantly learning and growing. And then eventually I just started getting a following out of really nowhere. Like on Spotify and stuff like that, like it does pretty well. And I was like, well, I mean, this is kind of working. I'm just going to keep going with this like folky singer-songwriter, almost kind of still kind of indie. And it's been working. You
started taking singing lessons, too, at a certain point, because you didn't like your voice for a long time.
Oh, because it was bad.
I've always loved your voice, dude, but if you think it was bad...
It was good, like, with punk music, because all you got to do is, like, scream and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But then when I tried to get into, like, a genre where you actually need to sing, I was like, oh, God, it's so bad. But, yeah, like... years, probably like five years that I just thought my voice was horrible. And now I still don't think it's great.
Yeah.
But it's like it's dirty and rough, but you know what? Like I've accepted that's just what comes out.
Yeah.
And I like it. Finally confident enough to be okay with it.
Well, I remember you performed at the church. What was the song? Glorious Day. I remember I filmed it. They filmed it. I just recorded it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing. And like I'd never heard the song before. And so the version of the song I hear is your version of the song.
There you go.
And I freaking love it. Like it's awesome.
You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the dark into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave,
then the punk version I did of it.
Yeah, that was awesome. And the video's cute because you got your daughter in it, like running around doing funny stuff.
I love it.
And you do work on a lot of content. Like you create a lot. I feel like you release a song at least every couple of weeks.
I have been. Like the goal, at least every month. Right now, there's about 8 songs ready to go. January 13th, a new song comes out, and then the 27th. Then the goal is every 2 weeks for a while until everything's out. But there's going to be an EP, an acoustic EP. So it's like all stripped down, acoustic only, nothing else. Then there's going to be another EP, and then the full album will release probably like 2 months after that.
This wasn't your first album, though.
No, first full length. There's been 2 EPs. But it's been all a concept EP. So the album is called Building a Home. And the first EP that came out is called Stone. And a house starts with a stone. The second EP was called Foundation. You took that stone and you made a foundation. With third EP is called Core and Shell, which is the core and shell of the building. And then the last album is going to be the actual home, Building a Home. So every nice. EP was a step to the next.
To the LP.
Yep. To the full length, yeah.
Dang, dude, that's awesome. And you're going to play some songs for us here in a little bit. We're going to continue to talk.
I got 2 new songs, completely unreleased, that nobody's heard before.
So why did you go with the concept? Where did that come from?
Man, I don't know. I just thought it was a really cool idea. So every album name, Stone, that word is in one of the songs. So it's not just a concept album, but each one of those words I made sure was actually in that song. So for example, Stone, if you listen to The Mason, it says, "You're the Mason, I'm the Stone." Boom, Stone. That's the name of the first EP. And then on the next album, Foundation, in the song The Tide, it says, "You're my firm foundation." Boom, foundation. There it is. And then the next EP that's coming up in February, Core and Shell, again, that phrase is in one of the songs. And so I just wanted it to be more, I don't know, I wanted a lot of extra thought into it.
Does every song correlate to the building of the house, or are they their own things and just have lyrics in them?
I mean, kind of. Yes and no.
Wait, what are you looking for?
I need chapstick.
Oh, well, you chop it up?
Edit that out.
And
or keep it in.
No, I'm keeping
pumpkin
flavor. This is actually going to be what I use for the clip right here.
So it's actually
chapsticking.
The next album is going to be called Pumpkin Spice.
Pumpkin Spice.
So
because the house has been built, and now it's time for turkey dinner.
Now we can be ladies in the fall and just sit there with our coffee, holding it with 2 hands.
Oh yeah,
Pumpkin Spice.
So you got the concept album. You've been going out and playing quite a bit. Have you been playing live shows? How's that going?
It seems to go great, man. Sometimes you play shows and nobody knows who you are, and you're at a restaurant and you're just playing for 3 hours and you're playing originals and you're playing cover songs and you're kind of like musical wallpaper where like nobody's really listening. And that's fine. It is what it is. And those ones you're just kind of doing for money. And you might get a couple new fans out of it. But then there's other times where you play like really special places. And it's just this beautiful moment where people are there to listen to you specifically. And that's why you do it, man. Like I played a show at the Arlington Music Hall the other day and it was just incredible, man. It's like that's why you do it.
Yeah.
And then you got those other filler shows that are just kind of there. But they're also kind of special too. I've had a couple times where like there was literally maybe like 15 people there. And not even all of them were listening, like a restaurant or something like that. 15 people, and there was one table, and they were the only ones listening. And it actually ended up being really special because I got to build a bond with that one table.
Right.
Which is more special and intimate than playing a show with like, 1,000 people, like at a church or something.
Well, dude, it's crazy that you mentioned that because we're typically a comedy podcast, but we wanted to do something special here and try something different. But like, it's kind of like going to open mic in a way. Like, open mic is a place that you're going to fail most of the time. 90% of the time, you're going to fail. You know what I mean?
Just trying to get it out.
But that's the thing is, it's John Mulaney said, he goes, the first 10 of anything is terrible. Just get through it, and then keep creating, and then it's going to get better and better and better and better. And so it just correlates so well to open mic because it's hard, dude. It's hard to be kind of in a place doing something ignored. Now, open mic is 5 minutes at a time. You're doing it for 3 hours.
Yeah, sometimes it's 3 hours. Yeah.
That's insane. How do you mentally deal with that where you're like, no one's listening? Like, or do you just get into it and go, I'm playing and like, this is what we're doing?
Yeah, sometimes, man, I just, accept the fact that no one's listening. So I just start to wing it. So instead of actually doing a song that I would normally do it in that structure, you know what? Like, let's try something else. And I'll just flow with it sometimes, which actually, sometimes that's how I realize that's actually how I want the song to be done. Because like, wow, whenever I was just winging it, it sounded beautiful like that. But then even then, if there's even like 1 or 2 people listening, it's still special. Like it always is.
Do you ever think about putting a band behind you again?
Yeah, I'm actually in the process of doing it.
So you're going to have like, what are you looking for, 4-piece or a 5-piece?
Yeah, I'm doing tryouts right now. I got a couple folks that are trying out on keys. I'm looking for keys, drums, bass, and potentially electric guitar. And really, that's all I really need.
But you're going to be in control of this situation.
Yeah, it'll still be me as the head guy, but I want a full committed band and got a couple folks I'm actually excited for them to try out and see what happens. But so that way, sometimes I'll be able to still play solo like I normally do. Other times it'll just be like me and a keys player or me and the drums, and then other times it'll be full band. Because right now I produce everything by myself, and I produce it as if it's a full band. When I go and play, it's all acoustic. I want to be able to do both.
Yeah, that would be awesome, dude. That would be killer.
But that's also why I'm putting out that acoustic EP, because for the people that haven't seen me live, you can listen to just the acoustic stuff. But like, all right, this is how it sounds live.
Do you think playing for the church, we mentioned that earlier, helped you because you were kind of like you auditioned for that, and then they would be like, well, we're playing 2 keys down, and you're like, what the heck does that mean? I got to So what was that experience
Big
like?
time. You know, I don't play for the church right now, and I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I just don't right now. But man, like the guy that runs at Cal Sherman and just being on that band helped me out tremendously to learn music theory and honestly to get myself not to be afraid of being in front of people, because I just was afraid to be.
You were afraid?
Oh, big time, dude.
That's shocking.
Oh,
Were you
yeah.
afraid when we played as kids? I don't remember ever being afraid.
Nope, I wasn't.
What do you think changed?
Something's weird. Like when you're a kid, like you just literally don't care.
Yeah.
And then you become an adult, and it's like you care again.
Do people like me?
But then meanwhile, I was like, why do I care? Give a crap what people think about me? But yeah, like you get older and you're worried about like people criticizing you, because adults, that's what they do. They criticize. And then now, like, I really don't care. Number one, I'm confident enough now. I also recognize the fact that music is subjective, and no matter how good you are, there's still going to be people that don't like it anyways, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that. But now I really just don't care. Like, I'm good. Like, I might get nervous for a little bit, but then I'm fine.
And you collaborate, too. You collaborate with your wife. Other people have come and gone in kind of the Tribe and King. Yep. But, like, you're good at collaborating. You're good about bringing people in and saying,
I love that.
Let's work together on this.
It's one of my favorite things, because, like, Tribe and King, you know, you hear Tribe and King, you would think there's two people. No, that's me. But it's always been like there's a tribe of people, like, of community that are musicians. They might not be a part of Tribe and King, but they come in, and there's every single song has somebody else in it. Yeah. Whether somebody comes in and, like, does keys or does background vocals or something, there's always one person that comes in and does something.
So where did the name come from, Tribe and King?
So Tribe and King is, so Benjamin is one of the first 12 tribes. So that's where my name is Benjamin. So Tribe, there you go. And then King for King of Kings. So, you know, if I'm up there playing by myself, it's me and him. So I'm not a Christian band. By no means am I trying to get into any, like, Christian genre. I am a Christian. Like, my beliefs are very important to me. But the music itself is intended to be just for everybody, whether you're a Christian or not. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
The songs are either faith-based or family-based. They're always, like, positive, but, you know, you don't have to be a Christian to listen to my music.
Yeah. Do you feel like that came from somewhere? Like, I know, for me, one of my favorite bands is Thrice, and I know 100%. You're a fan. And so, like, they kind of got a little bit more folky later on with their stuff, more acoustic, more folk. But, like, they're Christians, I believe. But
not
like,
all of them, I think.
But
I know the lead singer was.
The lead singer
potentially
was.
The other guys.
Yeah, and then they use a lot of their lyrics come from the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
Or like,
I had no idea.
Yeah, because I remember telling you that in church, and like you're like, oh, that's not a Thrice song, and you were like, what? Put your faith in more than steel, let your treasures, whatever it is.
Oh, so much stuff, man.
Yeah.
Even like Image of the Invisible.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So did you take inspiration from that?
100%.
100%? Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want to be pigeonholed, number one, into a Christian genre. I also don't want to take advantage of the Christian music industry for any type of, like, benefit, because I feel like that happens a lot. But, like, my main goal is, like, yeah, I don't want to – why would I only want to sing to people that believe the same damn thing that I believe in? Like, I want to be able to give a message of positivity and hope to all people.
Let's talk about – and I know this is very personal to you, but I think it's important – when you became a Christian again, because we were running around being wild in our 20s. Like, wow.
Idiots.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Still idiots, but more idiots then.
But you had a dream, basically, that converted you back to Christianity. So,
yeah, because I wouldn't say atheist, because I would say agnostic.
Agnostic, yeah.
You knew that there was something, but, you know, you didn't know what it was. Or I think it was more like I didn't give a crap about it. But I heard one time that, you know, people in the Middle East, like Muslims and stuff, that there's two reasons that people will come to Christ. And it's, number one, that they see, like, other Christians doing good things. And number two is just in a random dream. I'm like, whoa, like, that's me. So it was just a completely random dream. Nobody influenced it. Just kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't looking for anything. It just, boom, just hit me. And I remember just waking up, just being like, okay, I'll never deny you again.
Yeah.
My behaviors didn't change.
Yeah, you were still struggling.
I'm still a nut.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I literally, none of my behaviors changed. Unless somebody, like, would, like, try to tear down, like, Christ or something like that, I'd back them up.
You'd be like, listen here.
I will beat your
You can't say
for Jesus. For the Lord. I kick with the Lord. Oh my God, that's exactly what happened. But yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't deny him. Like, I believe him. Like, all right, this is who he is. He is who he says he is. Like, but yeah, I was still out being crazy and drinking like nuts and being violent and stuff. And
Yeah, dude, you struggled, but through the struggle, through everything that happened, you were creating the whole time. And so that period of time with music, that was always your go-to thing to kind of deal with the struggle after the alcohol, right? Mm-hmm. So I know you've been creating. You must have written hundreds of songs at least. Is that right?
Oh yeah, not all of them good, but yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, they're out there if you want to listen to them. Hey everyone, it's just Stuck jumping in to say thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you dig it, please head over to our website at improvtx.com, where you can check out our calendar for all the upcoming shows in Addison, Arlington, Houston, and San Antonio. And don't forget to follow our social media, all links in the description. And with that, back to the podcast. One of those things where I know you've always been creating and you've always been proud of your creations. And even though you say they weren't good, some of them are really great, like Squawksy McGee.
Squawksy McGee was dope, dude.
Yeah. What would you say is the best song you've written? What do you think is like the peak of the peak? Like
the
right now?
Best song I've written? I think actually one of the new ones that are unreleased right now. But that's kind of always how you feel.
Yeah.
I think The Tide was probably the first one that did really, really well.
Playing a portion now.
My firm foundation, and I'm here then gone, like a wind through mountains, and I'm the restless one, my solid ground, where I lay my life. You are the shore, and I'm the tide.
So were there any other songs that are like top tier that you would like suggest people?
Twilight Romance.
Oh,
People tend to like that one a lot.
playing a portion now.
Yeah, now the stars dance like a twilight romance in the crescent moon. It sings a reminiscent tune. And now the stars dance like a twilight romance in the crescent moon. Sings a reminiscent tune.
And then any other ones?
Well, I'll give you a sneak peek on January 13th. We're doing a cover of Free Fallin'.
Oh, nice.
You can hear it right now.
right now.
All the vampires walking through the valley, they move west down the shore boulevard. And all the bad boys standing in the shadows, and all the good girls home with broken hearts. Now free falling.
And we're back. And all this music's being played. But you're also going to play a couple songs for us here in a minute.
Yep. So they're produced and ready to go. They'll be out in February or March. But yeah, I'm going to do 2 new ones tonight.
What suggestions do you have to people who want to get into music? You know? Don't? No, but seriously, like there's people who need inspiration and they want to
Honestly,
play.
that's kind of funny. One of my favorite artists, David Ramirez, I saw him play live once. And he's like, and I met this guy, and he was a plumber. He was the best musician ever, but he was a plumber. You want to know why he was a plumber and not a musician? Because he's smart. And I'm like, that's pretty funny. Advice, just don't stop learning. Like, always be a student. Because right now, you're just like, oh, this is just what I do. Well, that might suck.
Yeah.
You know, just always just learn. Keep yourself humble. You're not better than anybody else. I can't stand when musicians, like, just because they think they're musicians that they're better than people. Like, no, shut up. Be humble. Be a student of your trade. Be real and authentic. Like, when you're trying to be like somebody else, you can tell. Be real, be authentic, but be a student and always trying to grow.
What do you do whenever you feel that negativity hits you? Where you're like, man, I suck and I'm terrible.
Oh, man, it happens, man. It comes in waves.
Yeah.
Like, what was I doing the other day? I was just tired and hungry. Like,
And I
suck. Like, I don't have any ham. There's no ham around me, and I suck. I think you just have to remind yourself that that's how everybody feels.
Yeah.
And it just comes in waves. So like we all do that about our own selves, like without art. Like just as people. Like some days we're like super cocky and confident in ourselves, and other days we're like, oh, I suck. It's the same deal with music. There's highs and lows, and you just got to power through it.
When you find yourself in like those lows, you just go play music just to get it out of your system. Like in comedy, whenever I feel like I can't do comedy, I have to go to an open mic. And that way I remind myself like, oh, I can get on stage and actually do this. I'm not good at it.
That's not a bad idea, because if you have a bad night, go hurry up and have another good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I haven't done that. Honestly, I just power through it. Sleep, wake up the next day, work on something new.
Yeah. How much time do you think you dedicate a week to?
God, I wish I could do so much more. I try to just do one night a week. You know, I'm married and have kids, and it's hard sometimes to find time to do it, but like I have to force myself sometimes. Like, all right, I'm going to do some work tonight.
I mean, but you've got 20 plus years worth of playing guitar and singing under your belt. Like that's huge. So you've got the experience, you've got the talent, and you've worked on your trade for so long. And it's changed throughout time, you know? It's definitely went from, like we said, the punk rock to kind of like acoustic, folk.
Acoustic?
Acoustic.
How do you spell it? A-Q... A-Q-U-I... A-Q-U-E-U.
I blame the hot wings that I ate earlier. The acoustic music.
Acoustic? Like on pole? Give me that acoustic.
You've been playing for 20 years, so you have all this experience. Where do you see yourself in 5 years with all this?
Man, I really hope that things will happen. There's something that could happen this year that would help tremendously.
Yeah, we can't talk about it.
I can't talk about that, but it would be a huge help. I'm just going slow and steady right now. You know, anything quick to rise can typically be quick to fall. So right now I'm just going slow and steady and just grinding it out as much as physically possible, just doing as much work, putting as much content out there as I can. I would love to do this full time someday.
Do you ever think about becoming a songwriter and just giving, you know, like giving your works? Like you kind of want to get involved with that or anything like that?
Yep. You know, I definitely always want to be Travis King. You know, have my own solo stuff, but I'm also a producer. I have a couple folks that I've been producing for and recording for, so there's that. So the combination of being in a studio, being an artist, and then, you know, being a songwriter, I'd also like to get into sync licensing, get into like movies and TVs and stuff.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about that. I got ideas for that. Yeah.
I think the combination of everything could be great.
Yeah, dude. 100%. Like, and I think that once people start seeing you and hearing you, because that's a big part of it, like you're going to do video this year and like put a face to the music, and like I think it's going to be huge. And I think you have the potential to blow up, especially if that one thing comes through that we can't mention. That could be amazing. But you've got the talent, and you put in the time, and you've put in the work. And like, what is luck? It's when time and hard work finally meet. You know what I mean? So you do both of those things, and there's going to be luck that comes your way where you're going to get an opportunity to do something.
That'd be cool.
Oh, it would be awesome, dude.
Honestly, like I kind of get inspired by you. Like, I know it was just years ago that I told you, like, man, just start doing something.
Yeah.
And you did. Look what you're at now, dude.
Yeah.
We're the coolest thing in the world.
We're on the improv stage right now doing a podcast.
He's like running that deal. That's crazy.
It's awesome.
I never thought for a second that music would ever be a full-time thing. And then it was literally just this last year that I'm like, you know what? It can be. If Duck can do what he loves to do, and other people can do what they love to do as a career, like, not saying that what I do as my job is great, honestly, but if I could do what I'm really passionate about, and that would be like my career, I mean, that would be fantastic.
It's hard because you chose a hobby/career path that is undefined. And much like comedy, it's the same way. People don't know where they're going. They don't. It's hard to get booked. It's hard to get on a show. Do you do well on the show? Do you bomb on the show? Like,
you're an independent businessman. Like, you're a business owner.
And it's a process that takes years. Some of the best comedians I've talked to, 13, 17 years in the game.
Yeah.
It's insane. But like, they get on stage and they own that stage.
Yeah.
That's something that you do also. Like, I don't know if you have fear at all when you get up there, but like, you always kill it. But even since we were kids, I always thought that, because you brought a lot of energy, and like, we would thrash around and have fun, you know what I mean?
That was fun.
Yeah, dude. It was great. But like, that confidence, I feel like, is still there, especially now that you like your voice. Like, before, I could always tell because you were just like, man, I don't know about my voice.
Yeah.
But now that you've
confident enough.
Yeah, you've actually embraced it.
Yeah, I don't think it's like as good as like, you know, good singers, you know, but like my voice has a place to be.
Raspy.
Yeah.
It's got that whiskey voice, even though you don't drink.
Even though I don't drink.
Even though you don't drink.
Like, you can tell this guy used to smoke years ago.
Yeah. They're totally raspy. All right, you ready to play some music?
Let's do it.
All right, so what's the first song going to be?
We're going to play a new song called The Basement and Tidal Wave.
And Tidal Wave. So The Basement's going to be first, then Tidal Wave. You're about... All right, Tidal Wave.
Do Tidal Wave first.
All right, so Tidal Wave is going to be first.
I was lost, I had given up dreams. I was caught in a hurricane wind. I had words, but don't understand. I had water in the palm of my hand, and this drink, the cup of my palm. It had weight, with no standing at all. As I lifted the base of my tongue, and further in and further along, I was lost, I had given up faith, like a wild road tidal wave. And I was broken in, telling a lie, and trying to cover that thorn in my side. Then you came, made me whole. I'm coming home, on a path where every road ends. Well, right now I could sure use a friend. As I listen to the silence and the sound, I hear whispers and I still hear them now. I was lost, I had given up faith, like a wild road tidal wave. And I was broken in, telling a lie, and trying to cover that thorn in my side. Then you came and made me whole. I'm coming home. And I was lost, I had given up faith, like a wild road tidal wave. And I was broken and telling a lie, trying to cover that thorn on my side. And I was lost, I had given up faith, like a wild road tidal wave. And I was broken in, telling a lie, trying to cover that thorn in my side. And you came, you made me whole. I'm coming home.
Oh my God, that was awesome! And then now, you can't tell that I recorded this at the same time.
The marvels of modern day editing.
So you heard Tidal Wave.
You just played like Michael Jackson song.
Yeah, I did, man. I played Billie Jean.
Yeah, I wrote that song.
And then now we're gonna hear The Basement. Why'd I say it so creepy? The Basement.
The Basement. It's not a happy song.
To the basement where monsters come from, into our cages hiding our faces, into the wild unknown. To the places where no one can come, no comfy stages to put on display from. now. We're on our own. Into the pages, stories not made, yeah. Tied up in laces of debts not paid, yeah. Until the white night air. No one can stop us now. We're on our own. Now I recall it, heavenly places, and I'm appalled at familiar faces, and I'm in awe, and I can't remember where. The weight comes off of me, I'm caving in. Into the depths of my core and shell now, there stands the heart of some unknown power, begging us to go. Out of the basement where monsters come from, out of our cages, into your faces, into the wide unknown. No one can stop us now, we're not alone. Now I recall it, heavenly places, and I'm appalled at familiar faces, and I'm in awe, and I can't remember when. Now I recall it, heavenly places, and I'm appalled at familiar faces, and I'm in awe, and I can't remember when. The weight comes off of me, I'm caving in. The weight comes off of me, I'm caving in. The weight comes off of me, I'm caving in.
All right, so we heard you play music. It was awesome. I really appreciate you coming on today.
Dope.
I appreciate you being my friend for so long. I love you. You are one of my best friends in the world. You're my brother.
Likewise.
But to hear you prosper in your music and like find faith and mix those together and just be this person that I love, like I honestly do. Like you're amazing. Like you're one of my heroes.
Thank you, bro.
So it's one of those things where it's just so great to see you. So thank you so much for being on the show today. I
This was
appreciate
fun.
it.
It was a blast.
All right.
Absolute blast.
This has been Duck, and I've been here with...
Driving King.
Yes, Driving King.
Yeah.
And support local music in any way, shape, or form that you can. Get out there and listen. Driving King will be out there. Oh, we need your socials real quick.
Instagram, something/Driving King. I don't know. All
right, I'll put them in.
Instagram, Facebook. Follow me on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music. Any music streaming platform, Driving King. Please follow me on Instagram. I am absolutely garbage at social media. I really need to get that thing going.
So follow on the socials. They're all linked in the description. Thank you so much. And there it is. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. If you enjoyed it, please head over to improvtx.com to check out all our upcoming shows at the Addison, Arlington, Houston, and San Antonio clubs. If you like this podcast, you might enjoy the other podcasts on the Improv TX Comedy Network. We have The Act Out. From open mics to the big stage, comedians tell us the story they've made, where I talk to comedians from all over and chat about their journey this far. Also, check out the Black Dog Retro Arcade podcast. Straight from the arcade, we talk about how our favorite games were made. That's right, we're talking all that video game goodness. And finally, we have Quacking Up, a storytelling podcast where we pick suggestions from a hat and tell stories based upon them. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Please check out our social media, all links in the description. And with that, we'll see you on the next one.